AITA for not wanting my 29F husband, 31M, to teach our future baby Spanish? Okay, so I'm in a bit of a dilemma here. I am currently 37 weeks pregnant, so we are getting ready to receive our girl. The problem is my husband has recently told me he wants to teach her Spanish too. The thing is, he isn't even Spanish. He was born here but lived on Spain since he was 4 until he was 19. Now, if he had some sort of cultural or family connection to Spain, then I might consider it. But he is American. When he initially told me at around 21 weeks, I thought he was joking, so I let it go. But now that he brought it up again, I told him how I felt about it. I told him what I told you guys above, and that it would be hard for her because they are very different languages. He started arguing that there are many kids that are raised bilingual and are very smart, but I also feel like it might cut me from my child. He is mad at me for not accepting, and I can't help but wonder if I was an asshole here. YTA. Why are you so against this? Spanish is an extremely common language and would be a benefit. The high school my children went to required a second language to graduate, and it's far easier to teach them young versus as they get older. Take advantage of the fact your husband speaks another language and is willing to teach your child. You could ask him to teach you as well. YTA. He doesn't have a cultural connection to the country he was raised in? Yes. He definitely does if he was there from the ages of 4 to 19. I told him what I told you guys above, and that it would be hard for her because they are very different languages. Being bilingual enhances understanding of both languages. And this will make your future child more well-rounded and more employable. He started arguing that there are many kids that are raised bilingual and are very smart, but I also feel like it might cut me from my child. Then find your own way to bond with the kid. It is okay for parents to bond with their children over different things. It doesn't have to take away from your relationship. YTA. Being bilingual is such a gift. Your child would have such a head start. It's a huge bonus on any resume or future career. Also, you say he has no connection to Spain, yet he lived there for almost all of his childhood? That is a huge connection. He spent his most formative years there. He does have a huge cultural connection to that country. Honestly, you sound jealous or even a bit racist. YTA. Being bilingual is an asset and completely normal for kids. YTA. Babies have an amazing capacity to learn things, including multiple languages, and stop gatekeeping Spanish. YTA. Spanish is one of the most common languages spoken in the US. After English. Why does the culture, heritage make any difference? You don't need to be from anywhere to learn a language. You also need to do more research into language learning. It's actually far easier for young children to learn multiple languages, while it's harder for adults. It sounds more like you think you'll somehow be excluded. And that's your sole reasoning. And if this is the case, learn it with your child? YTA. Living in a country for 15 formative years is a cultural connection. You don't have to be born there. Your kid will hate you forever for not teaching them Spanish when you could, and they have to start from scratch at school. Kids pick up languages so easily. Heck, if you don't want to be excluded, maybe you should learn it too. That'd be a great whole family bonding experience. YTA. 100%. I've lived in the US my whole life, raised by immigrant parents, and I'm completely fluent. Have embraced the culture, and plan to go to Korea one day. Your husband has spent 15 entire years in Spain. He is much more Spanish than I am Korean, if we're being literal. Clearly he wants to pass down his Spanish heritage, which there's nothing wrong with. If he had some cultural connection. He has lived there for 15 years. WTF are you on about? YTA. YTA. What if he actually was Spanish? Would you still not want him teaching her Spanish? YTA. It's a great advantage for a child to learn a second language at a young age. How will this cut you from your child? Because you don't know Spanish? Are you going to stop her learning from things you don't know the rest of your life? 4 to 19 is a huge gap of time in the majority of your husband's formative years, something that should be significant and understandable to a future mother. He clearly loves the country he was raised in and wants his child to have an appreciation for it as well. Not to mention the general benefits of bilingualism mentioned elsewhere. YTA. YTA. If he lived there for 15 years, especially his formative years, he does have cultural ties to Spain. Why would you not want a bilingual child? Americans are so dense they can't see the benefit of knowing more than one language. And yes, I am American. Face with rolling eyes. YTA. Being bilingual is an asset. And studies have found that children are not confused or less skilled in either language when they grow up speaking two. It sounds like your biggest problem is that you don't want to feel left out. Maybe you could try to learn two, instead of selfishly depriving your child of an opportunity she is fortunate to have. Edited because autocorrect sucks. How is living somewhere for 15 years not a cultural connection? LMAO. YTA. Being bilingual will only be advantageous for your child. Honestly, it sounds kind of xenophobic to me. To want to withhold part of his culture from his child. It doesn't matter if he wasn't born in Spain. He spent a considerable amount of time living there. No matter what ethnicity he is. Spain is still a big part of his life. I don't think you have a leg to stand on here, since learning a second language isn't harmful to your child in any way whatsoever. YTA. He literally grew up there. Teaching your child a second language from birth will be doing them a huge favor. YTA. When people use the phrase, ugly American, this is exactly what they're talking about. Your baby isn't even born yet and you're already putting your own comfort before their best interests. YTA. He lived in Spain for 15 years. It's a big part of who he is. Just because he wasn't born there doesn't mean he wasn't raised within the Spanish culture. A quick Google search has told me that Spanish is the second most spoken language in the USA. Which would be pretty useful to know if you live there. I suppose you want your child to speak American, face with rolling eyes. YTA.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.